A very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. We do this every single Monday between 3:30 and 4. We'll start it, and it then gets put onto IGTV and YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, click on subscribe. And if you're watching this on IGTV for the recap, for the rewatch, don't forget to follow and also share with everybody that can benefit from the topics that we cover. Eugene, what is our topic for today?
Today's topic is growth from mistakes. So, I'm sure we can all relate to this one.
Growth from mistakes. So like we've learned from today, we can definitely learn from our mistakes. But before we start, let's just take a quick break.
Sunny Motive, written by Sunil Osman, uses and explains motivational quotes to encourage readers of all ages to take bold steps in life, love, and business. Order your copy now by emailing Lauren Moy Publishing on sales@laurenmoypublishing.com. Also available on takealot.com and amazon.com.
So welcome back to Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. We thank you very much again for joining us if you are watching this on TikTok, on YouTube, or even IGTV. Today's topic is growth from mistakes. And I think we need to first define what a mistake is, because many people, like motivational speakers like that guy, Sunil Osman, says there are no such thing as mistakes, but just lessons. But what we can find is that a mistake is an act or a judgment which is often misguided or wrong. Sometimes it is unintentional and sometimes it is intentional. What do you have to say, Eugene?
Yeah, sometimes it is unintentional and there's nothing that you can do about it. But taking ownership is something you can do about it. But we're all going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes pretty much on a daily basis, you know what I mean? But dealing with those mistakes and dealing them in the correct manner is important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That jumps straight to how to fix a mistake, and that you have to take the responsibility of it. You have to apologize. You have to learn from the mistake. The biggest mistake people make about mistakes is they try and cover it up. They try and build lies and things around it, and that starts questioning their credibility when it comes to life, love, and business. And at the end of the day, so a mistake is that it is a mistake. But when people don't learn from it, then there is no growth. And one thing we are very, very strong about, especially on our Monday Motivation talks, is about growth of the self. So when you make a mistake, the first thing to do is to acknowledge the mistake. You need to be able to understand why it happened or why you made the choices you did. And this can refer to relationships. It can be getting a speeding fine or drinking too much tequila and then throwing up. That's a mistake. But will you learn from it? That is the question at the end of the day.
Exactly. Like one of the comments now just says, just own it, you will grow. And that's exactly it. Taking ownership of your mistake and not trying to cover it up in any situation. Because if you do it in a work situation and someone then finds out that you covered it up, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But it's not just like that in work. It's like that in friendships and relationships and stuff like that. So if you're covering it up based on another lie, then like it just says, integrity. Yes, show your integrity by taking ownership of your mistakes. You will end up growing. And like Sunil says, we're quite big on trying to grow for you so that you land up being in a better position as you develop and developing the ability to take ownership of your mistakes, where a lot of people don't want to admit when they're wrong. Like no one likes to admit I was wrong, but in doing so, you're taking ownership, and that shows not only in your integrity, but also your authenticity as a person.
Yes. Yeah. Like our producer Maria says, your mistakes are meant to be done in order to grow mentally towards a positive outcome. Absolutely, I fully agree with that. And one thing that you have said that's very important, Eugene, is about taking ownership. But when people think about taking ownership, it's about accepting the consequences of the mistake as well. So if you make the
Exactly.
mistake of having the 15 tequilas instead of 8, you need to accept the consequences. And I always use tequila as an example because it's easy, but also being able to let it go. Once, if you don't let go of the mistake, you're then holding on to an attachment, and you are holding on to something that will bring you down. You go, why did I do this? Oh, why did I date him? Oh, why did I date her? Why did I have 15 tequilas? Why did I do? Instead of just going, okay, I've done it. Now let me do it and recover from it or heal from it. Healing is so important when you make a mistake. But one of the biggest things people don't do when they make a mistake is they don't learn from it. And when you don't learn from it, you start repeating it. And then the cycle starts again. And the universe has an amazing way of teaching you to do it over and over and
And
over again.
over and over.
Business, life, relationships, unless you are healing and growing,
Mm.
accepting, letting go, knowing what the consequences are, if you do the same thing again, you are just going to repeat a cycle. And that is why I always come back and say that there are no mistakes. They are just lessons. If you're
Lessons.
not going to learn the lesson, it's going to repeat again and again
Mm.
and again. It may be in a different format, or you have people who make a mistake and they go, okay, now I'm gonna become a better person. I've learned my lesson, and they become that bad person again. Then they haven't learned. Then
Repeating
they're
the
going to repeat
cycle.
the cycle, repeating that
Mm.
cycle. And one of the things in life is about breaking that cycle so that you can raise in your level of consciousness so that you can learn from your mistakes.
Which brings me to the comment that Hummingbird says, people associate owning up being the weaker thing. You know what I mean? Like if I own up, I'm showing weakness and stuff, but it's actually showing strength. So sometimes like we don't want to take ownership because we're like, oh no, like, oh, but taking that ownership and showing that strength of your personality and all that is key. So yes, you're right, Hummingbird. Um,
Yeah.
and like there's another one that says it's rather to be honest about something that hurts someone than lie to protect a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, and that's so true. Like, rather be that open, and then because if you eventually get caught out in a lie, then what? Then you look. It's like, and we've spoken about good lies and bad lies and all of that. We've spoken about that. So where is a good lie a lie? You know what I mean? Like we've so rather don't put yourself in a position where you're not going to take ownership and you're going to get caught out. Because if you get caught out
Yeah.
in business, you're gonna lose a lot of potential business.
Yeah. And I mean, not only business, when it comes to life and love as well, if you start making a
Mm.
mistake, whether somebody who is cheating or whether somebody's stealing money or whatever it may be, as you said, the big thing is people start lying to cover themselves up. And that in itself is a mistake because you're not actually
Mm.
growing from it. You're just
Mm.
holding yourself back from actually progressing because you're just covering up your mistakes with these lies. So it comes right back to accepting the ownership, to accepting the consequences of the mistake. And everybody makes a mistake. There are certain people who have got no morals and ethics, especially when it comes to relationships. And then they say it was a mistake, it was a mistake. How many times can you repeat that mistake before it stops becoming a mistake and an actual habit? And that is the problem when mistakes become a habit.
Because you're not learning from them.
Absolutely.
Because
You're not learning from it.
you're just repeating the same cycle because you you've plastered over and you've lied to yourself and others, so you don't realize it's a mistake, so you're not learning from it, so you're repeating the same cycle, and then when it happens again you're like, but I'm sure this is, oh wait, no, it couldn't have been. And then it's like, I know a few people that repeat the same cycles over and over, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's hard, it's tough to witness it, but it's their
Yeah.
lessons and their journey, and they're like, everyone's on a journey at their own pace. You know what I mean? We've said this before. So, like, you've just got to witness some people making those mistakes. And yes, you can try and be that guiding figure, but at the end of the day, It's our mistakes to make, and whether you want to take ownership or not is down to you.
Yeah. And you know, it's so important as well when you see people around you making mistakes, that you learn from their mistakes as well. I mean, I do a keynote speak. I do a keynote talk about the entertainment industry as a business, and I tell people in there, these are the mistakes I've made. Learn from them, and it's up to you and your journey to choose whether you're going to learn from that. If somebody, for example, I'm going to use cheating in relationship again. I know lots of people that have been cheated on, or myself that has been cheated on, and there are people who see the effects, but yet they still go and do it. So, like business, like everything else, when is enough? And it comes right back to that cycle where you make the mistake, you admit, you apologize, you accept the consequences, you fix it, you try and fix it. Don't repeat it. But one of the very, very important aspects is to reflect of what you've learned from it. If you don't reflect, you're not going to learn. You're not going to grow. You're going to repeat it. Like we say, it's about that cycle.
So actually, there's something you mentioned now which made me actually think one of the best pieces of advice that I was ever given, and it was recently actually, like in the last few years, but they said, go and find people in your industry or where you want to be or where you see yourself, and don't go and see what they've done, but go and see the mistakes and learn from their mistakes. And like I looked at that and I was like, actually, that's super important, because we can learn from, like, in business, you're going to fail more than you succeed. That's just the way it is. Like, especially being an entrepreneurial driven person like me, I've experimented with so many things. I've made so many mistakes on various things, but I do like to take ownership when I'm wrong. I like to put my hand up and say I was wrong. Like, a lot of things
Yeah.
haven't come to fruition because I haven't succeeded in that. But it's my journey at my time, and everything fits together. But taking ownership along my journey has helped.
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned there that's so important is learning from other people's mistakes. And what happens is, as humans having a human experience, we are sometimes so ego driven that we believe we can do better than other people and not make the same mistakes, when actually we sometimes do repeat the mistakes of others.
Exactly.
And I think right there, we'll take a very quick break.
Sunny Motive, written by Sunil Osman, uses and explains motivational quotes to encourage readers of all ages to take bold steps in life, love, and business. Order your copy now by emailing Lauren Moy Publishing on sales@laurenmoypublishing.com. Also available on takealot.com and amazon.com.
Welcome back to Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and myself, Sunil Osman. Today's topic is growth from mistakes, and we are going to be ending pretty shortly. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to click on subscribe and that bell notification thingy. And IGTV, give us a follow. Influencers A is what you're looking for, and you can find it on the various social media platforms. So we're speaking about growth from mistakes, and one of the comments that came in here is that if we admit to our mistakes, it becomes easy to forgive ourselves and work through our emotions. And that's exactly what we're speaking about reflecting, forgiving, and growing from the mistakes. And again, that is why I always say there are no mistakes unless there are conscious decisions on what you're going to do, because sometimes it is unintentional. There are no mistakes, there are just lessons.
100%. And like we've said in numerous lives, learning from lessons is is so important. Like, I know we've touched it on here as well, but if you're not learning from those lessons, you're gonna just keep repeating the cycle: mistake, admit, fix, repeat, reflect. Like, it's the same. If you're not admitting and apologizing and fixing and then reflecting, you're not going to grow. And this is what it's all about, really. Like, especially in this period of time, like, when we are all at home, locked down, and we are interacting in a different level, knowing that, like we've said in previous ones, trust and honesty and stuff like that, this comes back down to that, because everyone can make mistakes, but if your level of trust and honesty with that person, you're going to accept those. If it's a repeated cycle and they keep doing the same thing and you keep getting hurt over and over and over, you're going to not start accepting those. So
Yeah.
which side of that would you rather be on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And just learning, and just like everybody is on their own journey, as we've always said, growth from mistakes is also part of a healing journey. If you don't want to heal, you're not going to want to grow. If you don't heal something, it's going to be stuck with you forever. And if you don't grow, you're not going to be ascending. You're not going to be raising your levels of consciousness, and you will start repeating cycles. So, in a nutshell, just to end the topic, growth from mistakes, I'm going to say again, unless something is unintentional or you've made the conscious decision to make that mistake, there are no mistakes. There are only lessons.
Correct. It's
Right.
100% correct. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say, Eugene?
No. Well, next week's topic though. Do you want to get into and tell everyone what next week's topic will be so that they can tune in next Monday?
Right. So every Monday, Eugene Wood and I do this Monday Motivation live on TikTok, and then the video gets edited by his team and puts on the following week. It gets put onto Influence SA on YouTube and IGTV. And next week's topic is surviving bullying. And that's going to come in all forms. I think it's a very important topic. I myself was bullied. I don't know if Eugene was bullied because of the shape of his beard, but yeah, people get bullied for the weirdest things. We will talk about it next week. Our producer Maria will be putting our script and notes together. Again, we do not speak about anything we cannot relate to, and it does help to have a producer with some psychological background that helps puts notes together and formulate the topics. But next week's topic is surviving bullying, and we'll talk about everything possible there. So if you have any feedback, anything you want to talk about, you can more than welcome to inbox Driven to Succeed or myself, Sunil Osman.
Cool. Thank you very much, dude.
Thank you very much, everybody. We are learning from mistakes. Don't forget to get to grow. And this has been Monday Motivation with Eugene Wood and Sunil Osman.